Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Green. I was asked a question. So, when did Satan fall from heaven? And is there a gap between Genesis 1:1 and 1:2? I'm assuming the person thought that maybe Satan fell, during the first 4 or 5 days of creation, and then he tempted Adam and Eve on the sixth day. I don't exactly know, but here's my response. If you guys like me to come speak at church or have any questions, you can email me. You can also comment below, and I'll try to answer them whenever I can. So in Exodus 20, it says, "For in 6 days the Lord made heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested on the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it." So God made everything, the earth, the sky, the stars, everything in 6 days, rested on the seventh, and He's given us that same commandment. You guys work for 6 days, and you rest on the seventh. In Genesis 1 it says, "And God saw everything that He had made, and behold, it was very good. In the evening and the morning was the sixth day." So here's what we know. We know that God created everything in 6 days, according to Exodus 20:11. We know that everything was good at the end of day 6, Genesis 1:31. So we know that Satan didn't fall until after the sixth day, and obviously not after the seventh day, because He said it was very good after the sixth day. If you look at Ezekiel 28, and it's talking about the devil here, it says, "Son of man, take up lamentation against the king of Tyrus," which is the devil, "and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, in the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the oxal, the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets of that pipe was prepared in the day that thou was created." So it's saying that when Satan was created, he was just absolutely beautiful, arrayed with the most beautiful things you can imagine. He was just so amazingly attractive and beautiful and well dressed. He basically was the greatest thing that God ever created, and his job was to be the light bearer for God. "Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee out." So that was upon the holy mountain of God, and thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. God says that He's the anointed cherub, like He's like the greatest thing that God ever created, and He was set up to be like the light bearer, the person that's supposed to show how amazing God is. "Thou was perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created until iniquity was found in thee." So He's saying that Satan was perfect until the day he rebelled. He was made he was like a perfect angel, a perfect servant, until he rebelled. So this is what we know. God created everything in 6 days. Everything was very good at the end of day 6. We know that Satan was created according to Ezekiel 28. And we know that Satan was perfect for a while. In Job 38 it says, "Where wast thou when I laid the foundation of the earth? Declare, if thou hast understanding. Who has laid the measure thereof, if thou knowest? Who has stretched the line upon it? Whereupon are the fountains of thereof fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy." In verse 7 it says that all the sons of God shouted for joy, not some of them. So we know that the devil was there when the foundations of the earth was laid. So you can see right there at number 5, he was still a good guy when the stars were made, and the stars were made on day 4. Genesis 3 says, "Therefore the Lord God sent him forth to the Garden of Eden, and to the ground whence he was taken. And so He drove out the man, and placed in the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims of a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep their way of the tree of life." So we know that Adam and Eve was in the Garden of Eden until they sinned, and then God kicked him out. So somewhere between day 6 and when He kicked him out, that's when Satan must have fell, because he had to have fallen in order to tempt Eve and Adam to eat the fruit. And if you look at Genesis 4, it says, "And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain. And he said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she bare again his brother Abel." So we know that Cain and Abel was born, but we don't know how old Adam was when Cain and Abel was born. And if you go to Genesis 3:20, it says, and Adam called his wife's name Eve because she was the mother of all living. So there was no other kids besides Cain and Abel at this point. And if you go to 5:3, it says that Adam lived 130 years and begot a son of his own likeness after his image. He called his name Seth. So we know that 130 years after he was created, he had Seth. But the Cain and Abel was born before that, and Cain and Abel was born after the fall. So I got to thinking to myself, Adam was 130 when he had Seth. Cain and Abel was born before that, and no dates were given. And he was kicked out of the garden before he had children. So I started thinking to myself, okay, he was 130 when Seth was born. He got kicked out of the garden before that. He had Cain and Abel before that. So how old could Cain and Abel be before they would have been old enough to do the things they did? I mean, they could have been a couple years old. They could have been 5, 6, 7 years old. But I was thinking probably at least a teenager, because Cain and Abel's job was tending to Cain's job was tending to the vegetables, and Cain's job was to get the vegetables, and Abel's job was to get the animals and take care of them. So Cain was a gardener, Abel was a shepherd. How old would they have to be able to be on their own taking care of these different things? And I'm assuming they were probably at least 16 or 17 before that. So we know that they could have been in the garden with God for over 100 years before Satan got jealous and sin and tempted Eve. Since Seth was born at 130, that had Cain and Abel, they could have been teenagers, which means that Adam and Eve could have been in the garden for 100 years before Satan fell and tempted Adam and Eve to get out of the garden. So anyways, guys, I hope this helped you guys out. You could comment below if you have any questions. If you haven't subscribed or liked, please do so. Share this with somebody if you think they might like it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have yourself a great day.